But most of the people have said this chair is not about the college you went into, it's about their own initiative, their own drive, their ambitions, their own curiosity. I can say from the era which I grew up, I don't give a rat's ass when you say to me, okay, you can only be rather if your back is bent. On my tombstone, I want the habitat, be ashamed to die until you have scored some victories for humanity. Many people look for meaning in life, and those going to be under a rock or behind a tree. This my meaning. You have more power than that. You have a power to create meaning in your life, rather than passively look for it. Meaning to me is we know more about the world today than I did yesterday. It enhances meaning for me, and it accumulates and accrues daily in a month through it. And just a day later, see it continue to grow. And first person for me wasn't doing find meaning. I was hungry with great meaning, and I started all the things. You cannot align the sand between people who gestures but do not hold power over you. There's a famous quote from Martin Luther King. If you call it Biden, your back is bent. When you grew up, it was very common to hear the phrase, stick in a sword and break my bone, but the words will never hurt me. I haven't heard the phrase in a long time. I don't hear it repeatedly, and the eminence grows. What I think was happening over years is we came to learn as a civilization that work can be hurtful than an offense and in mental health. What I see on the left side of the coin, however, is some people are less able to deal with the same people who are around today who were around back then who are calling your names. I can say from each area we grew up, I don't give a rat's as you say to me unless you between me and some girl, then I'll have to navigate that some way. And this aggressive person or excessive person or a person with some kind of cultural bias. I want to know that actually I want to say everything you want to say. Then I'll say, okay, then who's you are, what's your thinking? It's not what to do, need to do, because you're in the way. Do I dig under you, go around you, live over you, or do this way, and then come on the other side? Yes, my effort, it's my energy. But on that level, it's sort of just different day. I can see you being frustrated, you being, that's not, you're not navigated. I think high school has to learn how to deal with difficult people. There are people who are not nasty, you have to navigate them. The people who you cannot interact with for whatever reason, whatever could next to you in your workplace. So I think we're in a very total social part that people are tossed into the high school experience. When they say, oh, hey, there was people in your, it's now your portfolio obligation for guest. You count. Hey, has a vision statement. Have read, have not understood back of the joy another way they got locked out again, and this was careful. It didn't mess up very well. Often learned just story in the last person. For me, we do the public 80 plus percent of it's driven by duty, not by ambition. So I feel it. That was the case. This had a hosting course in 2014 and 3, and Window Carson second, who is hugely talented, has approached me and said, we would consider hosting Commerce as an adult. There are a dozen people, helping a dozen artists who could jump with this opportunity, who don't need to do this. I really don't. Then talk about it. I said, well, make cars when I was 17. I was playing college, it was Cornell. I was accepted Cornell. I was really know college I want to go to. And the ambitions of Victor, so it wasn't totally in common there. And they have forwarded me my application to him. First reaction, and he sent me a letter. 2 days later, I opened it. It says, understand you like something I like. You want to visit the campus, you can decide if you want to go to Cornell. He met me outside building on a Saturday. It is something really cool. Back from the book itself was on his book signed it to me. near station featured Arsenal single card. Later in the day and go back to New York. He begins to know and it has the offense in December in Attica. And he says he's my phone number. He breaks it through from snow, spend the night with my family. I go back tomorrow. I'm thinking, who am I? Why? I'm nobody. There was somebody to him. And I said to myself, if ever as promoted, famous as he is, I will choose to do the way he had treated me. If we can fold this memory into this as commas, then we have a way to justify who I am the next host because torch got passed. It was passed in 2014, it was passed in 1975. 2000 future, I remember I still have that book. But I said an adult scientist, but a kid who have a lot of curiosity. But the people who have visited this chair is not about college they went into, it's by their own initiative, their own drive, their own ambitious, their own curiosity. They did not touch a school. Sadly, school they view you as empty vessel and pour information in and test over here and higher grade you praised. You may even give commerce speech. This is who become the shakers and movers of the world. I don't think so. You come to the first and last step school, you're not singing the ice cover songs. School's out forever. You will be a sad song. You'll be singing, say key. I gotta go to swimming without learning anything. You be sad that the school is over, not happy. And so you leave school, you say to yourself how to work. And I have a curiosity of all things and have yet exposed to and we have become a lifelong learner. I read things that take me to places how people think. What was about your dad had impacted you so much into carry today? Being in these words of wisdom he gleaned in his life, and it is safely communicated to me either by example or by just explicit statement. In high school, he was in gym class. They were lining up, they were about to enter the next other club unity for check and field. And the gym instructor pointed to my brother on the line and said, "Zero rejection." They looked at him. He does not have a body type, the cell in check. And they said, "What? The one is going to tell me what I can do in my life." And he used that as a reason to start running. Within a few years that he became a world class in 1945, 1948. And history has nothing to come back to us because we're still really growing from the Second World War. Instead, we're still in Olympics, it was called a GI Olympic, and we were held, and it was held in Hitler Stadium. So to meet in Hitler Stadium in the late 1940s. But the reason why I'm saying that is there's a friend of his named Johnny Johnson. They're competing against New York Athletic Club. The New York Athletic Club at the time accepted only white Protestants. So there were another club in the Pioneer Club. We took everybody who was not accepted into the New York Athletic Club, basically punk Jews. And his best friend, Johnny Johnson, okay, was coming around the back stretch. They've been the quarter and going on the final stretch away. And a runner from the New York Athletic Club was feels placed behind him, and Johnny Johnson overhears that runner couch say, "Catch that nigger." And he overheard this. And so then he said to himself, he said, "This one nigger he ain't gonna catch. He ain't gonna catch." And he extended his lead to the finish line. And he said his story, not to any Peter tone. It was his occasion to parlay what today may be called migration into a reason to excel even more than you expected of your own abilities and talents. My last question, what impact will you have in your work? The impact will be people learn from me in a way that they are empowered before I talk to them. So I think of what they learn from me. They no longer think of me. They think of their own pace of understanding of what is work was and become irrelevant. And because people say this is true because they say so, and I fail. That's not how you teach someone. Not listening by authority. I don't know, that's no. I want to teach you to still think about the word. They say, I knew my hand that word and just you just run off. You if you look back. Because a new level of hunger had descended upon you, and methods and tools to feed that hunger are not accessible to you. So my impact will be that others impacted and they don't even remember that have something to do with it. Okay, so I think that my speaking skill is improved a lot. Is improved a lot from the compare my speaking skill improved a lot compared to the first time I did this one. And besides that, I think that because of the improvements, I'm gonna move on and just improve myself more as fast as I can because I have a lot of stuff in the end at the end of this course. So I have to try my best. I have to try a lot. I have to try really hard in the work that I want to achieve it, my achievement. So never give up and focus on what I'm doing. That's it.